Hey y'all, my name is Taylor. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So today I'm doing a tag. I was tagged by Amanda and Holly to do the name book tag. So I love doing tags. They're a really easy, fun way to get content out. I am behind on tag videos. There's several that I have been tagged in over time. I just haven't gotten around to them yet, but I will do them at some point. But I saw this one pop up recently. I was tagged twice, and it looked really fun. And I really, really love the way Holly added some bonus questions at the end. She's like the queen of hard tag questions. She's so creative. I love that about her. But I wanted to do that sooner rather than later, and here we are. Apologize for the background. Again, I moved recently, so things are not pretty like they can be. Will be at some point. So here I am. I'm going to do the tag, but I'll do the main questions first, and then I'll do the bonus ones. Also, P.S. if you're not already subscribed, which if you're subscribed to me, you probably already are for them too, but if you're not, I will have them both, Amanda and Holly, linked in the description box, so you can go check out their channels and subscribe if you aren't. So, my name is Taylor, like I said, Taylor, and I do go by Tay if you want to call me that. That's my channel name is like that. So I debated on if I wanted to be really short and have 3 letters. I was like, no, my full name is Taylor. Some of these I have talked about recently, so I hope this isn't too much of a broken record, but here we are. So the first one is The Tides of Time by Sarah M. Eden. This one is a historical romance. It is a time travel story. It was really good. One of the best time travel books I've ever read. It is very interesting because you start off in a past time period, like the French Revolution, and she goes forward in time to, I think it was like the late 1800s. Yeah, 1873 England. So yes, that made it more unique, and I really, really enjoyed that one. I love the cover for that one too. Next is so I have A River Between Us by Jocelyn Green. This is a Civil War time story, and it's a romance between a girl in the South and a Yankee. Scandalous. It is a shorter one too, so it's a pretty quick read. Highly recommend that one. There's lots of things in Georgia that happen, so I lived in South Carolina, like right across the border from Georgia, so I felt a lot of nostalgia getting about that area. And then Y. So Y is so hard. It is, I don't know. It is so hard. And I'm trying to stick with books that I already own. And I have nothing, not even ones that I haven't read. These are all books that I have read, by the way. Nothing that starts with Y. So, I cheated. I'm giving you a title that has a Y in it. So, so The Lady and the Lionheart by Joanne Bischoff. This one is a circus story, which are typically not my thing, but I really, really love this one. It is about a young woman that meets this guy who is in a circus. He has a young kid. Things are not all that they seem. There are secrets. There is heartbreak. There is salvation in this story. Like, this is a really good Christian fiction story, and one of my favorites of all time. Absolutely adore this story. And it has a Christmas novella, and I'm going to have to try to remember it this year. Remember to read it. So there's that. And then L, T-A-Y-L. So this one I'm going to have is Last Light by Terry Blackstock. This is the first book in a Restoration novel, book 1. So the Restoration series. This one is apocalyptic. I had to think about how to enunciate that one. I'm very proud of myself. I got it the first try. This one is about a family that is surviving, like figuring out how to survive as a Christian family when electricity stops working. Like, cars don't run if they have like any kind of electrical components to it. Like your old cars that don't have like computerized stuff in them, those still work, but every other vehicle stops working. Airplanes stop working. You know, obviously like AC. You know, washer, dryer, all of that stopped working for no apparent reason. So they're trying to figure out what's happening and how to survive. And then, again, another hard one for me was O. I had nothing that started with O that I had read before, that I own. So I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to stick with ones that I already own so I can physically show you something. But again, slightly cheating. But I am doing Counted with the Stars by Caroline Cassette. I'm kind of maybe not quite cheating entirely because the series name is Out of Egypt. So maybe I can squeeze by there too. But this one is a biblical fiction story about a woman that is a Egyptian slave, and she ends up going in the Exodus with the Hebrews out of Egypt, and so she discovers what Yahweh is and becomes a believer. Slight spoiler alert, but I think you probably know that, but from the description. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that one. I think that was the first biblical fiction book I ever read. And then last one, R, to finish out my name, Recorder by Kathy McCrum. I have sung the praises of this one several times. It is Christian sci-fi with heart, light on the science, light on the science, more emotional, human base. Is about a young woman that has, as I say, stuff that's not very helpful. Computer type stuff in her head that allows her to interface with a drone so that she can record things in society in a non-emotional way. Kind of thing like Data, but a real human, like from Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie, so I'm like pulling out my examples that make sense to me, but it may not make sense to someone else. But anyways, I really love this one. This one has found family in it, romance. You got to read it. It's in a trilogy. The whole trilogy was excellent. All right, so let's get to the bonus questions. All right. Question 1. And these are made by Holly, by the way. So, what does your name mean? And recommend a book that reflects that meaning. So, I did kind of already know this, but I Googled it just to make sure my memory served me correctly. But Taylor, Taylor, comes from Tailor, so a tailor, like cutting fabric. So literally it means a cutter of cloth. And funnily enough, my mom is a seamstress, and I mooch too strongly off of her ability. So I can sew, it just takes me forever, and I'm not the best at it. One of these days, my dream is to make like quilts and things. I know that's not quite the same thing as like hemming and whatever, but I really want to make a quilt one day. Just kind of, that's one of my goals. And then make some things with patterns and whatnot, make my own clothes. Like that is like a very far-fetched dream that will probably never happen with timing and all that. And my interests are other ones that are higher than sewing, but you know, just fun fact about me, my mom is a seamstress, so that served me well and did not encourage me to learn it myself. Oh, and then the book. So I don't physically own any that have anything to do with seamstressing, tailoring that I, haven't already read and I already know. So A Quilt for Christmas, that one, who wrote it? Melody Carlson? That one's a Christmas book, kind of self-explanatory in the name. It's really super sweet. I would recommend it for Christmas time. Number 2, what is your name's origin? Do you have or love any books from this culture or set in this country? So the background is that it was an English surname, but the root of it came from an old English word, tailleur, which means cutting, to cut. So I forgot to keep it easily accessible. The Tides of Time. This one is partially set in France, so there's my check for France. And then the other one I have, England, Pride and Prejudice. Favorite classic of all time. This is one of my pretty editions. It is one of those interactive ones that have like the maps and letters in it. So it's a really cool edition that I need to actually read one day, but it's pretty and sits on my shelves and makes me happy in the very least. So, let's see. Number 3, recommend a book with the same amount of letters in the title as you have in your first name. This one was tricky, but I was counting, I was like, oh, 6 letters. I need to find one with 6 letters. Do I own one? Yes, I do. So, If I Run by Terry Blackstock. I just realized that there are 2 Terry Blackstocks on this list. Who'd have thunk? But this one is pretty popular on Christian BookTube. This one's an older one, so it's kind of almost a Christian classic, I guess, to me in my mind, because it's been out for a while. It's not like super old, but anyways, this one is this girl is getting falsely accused of murdering her friend, and so she is on the run from the cops and trying to clear her name. All right. I don't typically throw my books. There is a soft landing space for them, by the way. I don't mistreat books. Anyways, let's see. Number 4, find a title that includes all the letters found in your first name. This one was the hardest one that I could answer. Yeah. The other ones I kind of have semi-answers. This one I have an answer, but it was hard to get. So, the Y's tripped me up. But I have for you The Mayflower Bride by Kimberly Woodhouse. This is the first book in the Daughters of the Mayflower series. So this woman is kind of like the matriarch of all the other women in the series. She's the very first one. So it's basically about American women through the various time frames in America. Obviously, this one's when the Mayflower landing happened. If you love historical fiction, historical romance, Christian-based, recommend this book and the series. I have not gone past, I think, the 4th one yet, but I own, they're down there. I thought maybe you could see them, but I own a good bit of them, so I do need to pick them back up because they're short little books. I need to finish the series out. And then number 5, think of a book that has a character whose name is the same as yours. This is my qualm with books. Literally no one has books. I have one example that I don't want to give because it's not a book I recommend. I did not like the book. But yeah, Taylor is not a popular name for books. It's just not. I guess because mainly I read mainly historical fiction or fantasy, and that name is just doesn't fit. Maybe in contemporary romance, maybe I'll find a Taylor, but yeah, the only one I can think of before I read this book was there was a Taylor in Lost, like that TV show Lost. It's not a book, but even in TV shows and movies, Taylor is just not popular for some reason. It's popular in real life. I had several different people I knew that had my name. Even boys had Taylor as their name. One of my husband's closest friends, his name is Taylor, and but in fictional world, Taylor is just not a thing. But in Lost, there is a very bratty woman whose name is Taylor. I'm pretty sure it was Lost. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering that. But I remember the character, and she was just so mean and a brat, and you just did not like her. And I was so offended that my name was this woman's character. And so the other book, the book that I read that has my name, is Aftermath by Terry Blackstock. So you get 3 Terry Blackstocks, but this one I did not like that much. I don't know. I didn't like it. But this character, she went off the deep end and did some stalkerish type things and hyper obsessed. And there's something that happens to her that kind of explains why she went that way. But the girl did not have good coping skills. She was unhinged. Okay. And I'm like, there aren't many Taylors in fiction, and the few that I've found are not good examples. I don't know. You get a whole blubbering mess of an answer for this one, but if you know of a Taylor in a fiction book that you would recommend that has a good portrayal of that said person, let me know. Help a sister out. Number 6, Name an author who shares your first name. This one I also could not answer very well because there are no books that I've read that I can think of that have an author by the name of Taylor. I have read Taylor Jenkins Reid in the past, pre-Jesus days. She writes secular romance, and I would not recommend her stuff now because of content. And she has some fairly explicit stuff, or like just Christian worldview. I would not align with some of the stuff she writes. But anyways, I wanted to give you something for this answer. So I have a kind of answer. So Tara Grace, this book is Fierce Heart. It's a first book in a series of fantasy romance with elves and humans. But her name starts with T, and if I don't enunciate my name well, sometimes I've been called Tara. Does that count? Yeah. Anyways, let me know if you have answers for that too. That is a clean author whose first name is Taylor. I guess I could have gone with the last name, but I just didn't think to look for that. But anywho, if you enjoy this, let me know. I enjoyed answering the questions. I feel a little unhinged, so maybe that is an accurate representation of Taylor. But anyways, let me know if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are. Oh, I need to tag people. I did not think about this. On the spot. Who has not been tagged already? Oh my goodness. I don't think well on the spot. Let's do Cheryl from the Candlewick Library. Let's do Kat from Cat Stories. And oh gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. Tabitha. I haven't seen a video from her in a bit. I think she's posted, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. But anyways, my brain all over the place. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.